Here's to new memories. Perhaps they will be good ones this time.
What is up, you guys? This is Old Danny Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you a build breakdown update video on Magik, and this is going to be her melee build. So let's go ahead and look at her traits. She gains a 25% summon power base damage automatically. Her two main attributes are fighting and energy. Health on hit is what she gains. She gains health on hit automatically, 280. Defense and deflect are her two main defensive stats. It's 20% for the multiplier and plus 600 on its base rating. She gains close quarters. When you hit with a melee power, you gain 8% damage reduction for 3 seconds. Now into her abilities. Soul Slashing, I put that on X. Stepping Disc, I put that on L2 circle for her dash. 7 League Step, I put that on triangle. Sorceress Eruption, that one is on circle. Soul Shockwave is on square. Soul Sever is on L2 triangle. Dark Alliance is L2 square. And Otherworldly Nova is on L2X. So onto her talents. Deadly Fangs, I'm using Deadly Fangs. Branded Mind, Dark Alliance, Sever the Silver Thread, and Explosive Will. So with Deadly Fangs, magic powers apply Soul Blaze. Spirit Fangs, that gains the following effects: fires more projectiles in a wider arc, cooldown for 6 seconds, damage 150%. That doesn't matter, we're not using Spirit Fangs. We're using it because magic powers apply Soul Blaze, and the buff effects from Soul Blaze gives you melee power damage increased by 15% for melee powers, and it's an 8-second duration. Branded Mind. Soul Brand's base effect is automatically applied whenever you hit enemies with a magic power. So this is probably the best option because this is the only one that you don't where you don't need to have Soul Brand in your slots. Burning Brand and Blood in the Air are really good. They're both really good talents, but you need them in your slots. Branded Mind, you don't need it in your slots. If you do have it in your slot and you're manually using it, it'll make the enemies confused and attack each other. The next talent is Dark Alliance. Dark Pact transforms into Dark Alliance. Dark Alliance summons 2 random lesser demons. When activated, does not require demons to be summoned and always absorbs damage equal to 120% of your max health. So this way you don't need to have any of your lesser demons on your loadout as well, because when you use Dark Alliance, which was Dark Pact, when you use Dark Alliance, you'll be able to get that damage reduction, or not necessarily damage reduction, but like a damage shield that's equal to 120% of your max health. So the next one is Sever the Silver Thread. Gain additional souls when you hit with a melee power, 2-second cooldown. Soul Sever consumes all souls, gaining the following benefits per charge consumed: damage and crit hit chance is increased by 20%. I'm gonna guess that each soul that you have, so you'll have a total, I believe, of 5 souls. If you have all 5 souls and then you use Soul Sever, you'll go up to 100% damage and 100% crit hit chance. Explosive Will. Soul Shockwave cooldown is 8 seconds. So Soul Shockwave damage is increased by 200%. Soul Shockwave area of effect is increased by 300%. Sorceress Eruption cooldown is increased by 4 seconds. Sorceress Eruption damage is increased by 200%. And Sorceress Eruption area of effect is increased by 50%. So for these, what is it? I don't think I really need to actually explain any of these abilities, since they're pretty much, they're pretty much clear. With the my inventory, my gear, my cosmic gear is pretty much not min-maxed. I still have some tweaking to do, but other than that, it's pretty good. Legendary item. This is not a great legendary item to use too much, really, in my opinion. I mean, it still works it can still work for Magik alone, but if I were actually, you know, yeah, no, I wouldn't necessarily focus on using Neptune's Trident. If anything, I would go with what's that? The Warlock's Eye or the Savage Axe of Ares. Those are the two I would go for if you're going for a melee build. But I mean, Neptune's Trident still works because it gives you that. If you go for rank 3, you get 1000 crit hit rating. Rank 4 gives you 5% chance on any hit to fire Mystic Beams, dealing 10,000 damage to enemies and healing all allies for 5,000 health, 3-second cooldown. And then rank 5, 5% chance when you hit to create a deadly tsunami that does 5,000 energy damage twice per second for 10 seconds and making enemies take 10% extra damage. So those last three ranks are really, really, really good. I guess Dark Pact or Dark Alliance could technically apply to the rank 1 and 2. So now that I'm actually thinking about it, Neptune's Trident would probably be the better option, because this would be a well-rounded legendary item for Magik alone. The medallions I'm using Curse Medallion. So when you use a Magic powers, gain 631 damage rating to melee powers for 10 seconds, and 765 crit hit rating is on this medallion. So you get this Curse Medallion from Odin's Palace. Either this one or Loki's medallion, or I forgot what the other medallion was. When you hit with the magic power, you gain range damage, or I guess something like that. Because you have two abilities that are two or one ability that's range based, plus your signature. But Curse or Loki's are the two I would probably use the most. My Catalyst, not so great. It's almost there. Regenerate 25% of your health up to 3,000 and 100 spirit when you use your med kit, plus 3 speed. Gain damage shield equal to 50% of your max health when you use the med kit. 10% chance when you are hit to regenerate 500 health, 2-second cooldown. The only thing I don't like is that plus 3 speed. If I could get plus 3 intelligence, plus 1, 2, 3 energy or fighting, not intelligence, but fighting or energy, that would be a lot better. Complete Relic of Subterranea. The reason why I went with this is because, I mean, more defense is better, especially for a melee build, because you're going to be up close and personal with your enemies. You could either go with that, or you could go with Relic of Asgard, or you can go with Relic of Xander. The reason I say Relic of Xander is because, like I said earlier, you do have 1 or 2 abilities that are range based, but other than that, I would honestly just probably stick with Relic of Subterranea. So my artifacts, I'm using Cargo's Rewrites, Iron Legion Armor Sheath, and Sherbis Neotum. So Cargo's Rewrites and Sherbis Neotum, you can only get those from the supply box, but you can get the Iron Legion Armor Sheath from farming, what's his face, Ultron, so at Times Square. Yeah. So my stats are 38,510 average effective health, 37% damage reduction, 3% attack speed, 3264 crit hit rating, 7268 crit damage, 2922 brutal strike rating, 5792 brutal damage, 112% base damage. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what each ability looks like, and then somewhat of a rotation. So this is X. Then you got Square, does a nice shockwave. Then you have Circle, which does a nice AoE as well. And then you have the 7 deadly something, whatever. Well, didn't hit multiple targets. Do I not have the... I don't think I have the talent that does that, actually. Yeah, 7... Okay, so Stepping Disc Mastery would increase its duration, but you would need Dark Alliance, so it doesn't really matter too much. 7 League Step is still a good ability to have, though. Yeah, it's still a good ability because it lets you go invulnerable for that duration. And then, as you can see, you have the souls around your character, those 5 souls. And if you're not looking at that, you can see the white bar under my name, under All Day Any Day 1, and above the blue bar. This is on the bottom of the screen too, by the way. So under All Day Any Day 1 and above the blue mana bar or spirit bar, there's a white bar, 5 white bars. That you wanna, once that gets to 4 or 5 bars, that's when you want to use LT triangle, because it'll do a nice heavy damage on your enemy. And then Dark Pact or Dark Alliance summons your demons, and it also gives you the shield or damage absorption, and then your signature. So with the somewhat of a rotation, quote unquote rotation, is you would use your melee, and then circle, triangle, square. You would use all 3 of those in no particular order. Use Dark Alliance whenever that's available, and then LT triangle whenever your bar is full, whenever you have the souls. And if you don't, I would use it if you have 3 to 5 souls. If you don't, then just hold off on it and keep meleeing. But yeah, that's about it for her her abilities. I don't think I went over the synergies actually. Her synergies that I'm using Beast, Black Widow, Blade, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Gambit, Hawkeye, Magik, Squirrel Girl, and War Machine. And then Infinity Points, I went with straight fighting. You can go with, if you don't have 25 points, you can go with Inner Resilience for the health on hit. You can go with the Mental Focus for crit damage. You can go with Temporal Loophole for movement speed and attack speed. And you can go for Micro Warps and Gravity Well for increased durability and health. But yeah, that's basically it for Magik's melee build. So if this build, if this build helps you out at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. I did take it under consideration of the the comments from my first Magik build breakdown. I didn't take it as negativity. I mean, I did at first, but then I kind of looked at it as constructive criticism. So then I started tweaking around with Magik, and I noticed a lot of people wanted to build her in a melee way rather than just summons. So I decided to make a melee build as well as my summons. So, and I actually find this melee build pretty strong too. The cooldowns, it does suck that the cooldowns are pretty long, but it's still a pretty good build. And yeah, if you have any artifact suggestions that you could use, or that I could use, or whoever, put that down in the comment section. Like I said, if this video helps you out at all, go ahead and leave a like or subscribe, and subscribe. And yeah, that's basically it. This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.